We all good to go?
Good to go on my end.
Hold on. I need to kick this dog out. He's
Oh,
He's-
yeah.
he's stealthily quiet and peaceful right now, but it's a fucking act. I know it. Get halfway through this shit, and I sound like a sex offender. Nick's got to bleep it all out.
Episode 339 of the TV Dudes, recorded June 30th, 2021. Good and evil, and musical. It's time to get heady and discuss the nature of good and evil. Or maybe just the good fight and evil, two shows from the Kings that return to Paramount Plus this week. And we'll round it out with a musical journey through Apple Plus's Central Park, and of course, our thoughts on the latest Loki on Disney Plus. But before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Nick.
And there's no Kyle this week.
Well, yeah, I took care of that.
Kyle is traveling and will not be on the next couple episodes, but he will be back, and we will practice our intros when he comes back, so we actually can incorporate all four of us again.
I gotta say, I was against it to start with, but I see the humor now, and I think Kyle's really gonna laugh hard when he gets home and we've reflooded his house.
Oh, Jesus, terrible. If it does reflood, less how terrible will we all feel.
Really bad. If I have that power and I didn't realize today was the day and I used it for this.
Yeah, but you'd realize your power, so that's kind of a win-win right there.
True.
I'm just gonna wish for random shit for the rest of my life. Oh wait, that's what I'm doing anyway.
All right, let's jump on over and start talking about our TV diaries for the week.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
Nick, what do you got?
Oh, me? Okay, well...
You start, yeah.
Well, I did have a Mupdate.
Okay.
I didn't watch any of the movies or the shows. I just went back and watched Jim Henson's old commercials that he made before the Muppet Show.
Yes. Whatever weird-ass coffee that is.
Wilkins Coffee. Which are fucking terrifying. Randy, have you seen these?
No, this is... You are a little Muppet completist that I am definitely not.
They are Don Hertzfeld weird. Like, my spoon is too big. It's great.
They're decades ahead of their time. I would swear to God, just from the dialogue alone, they feel like modern Rick and Morty level dark humor. Like, let me just go through, like, a couple setups are, one, there's one Muppet that's just kind of this big, like, blob beanbag looking thing, and then the one that looks a lot like, and looks and sounds a lot like Kermit the Frog. And Kermit is like, hey, have you had any Wilkins coffee? He's like, no, I don't like Wilkins coffee. And a gun, not a felt gun or toy gun, a real hand with a real gun comes out and shoots this Muppet with smoke. And the punchline is like, well, I mean, stuff just happens to people who don't drink Wilkins.
Wow. Okay.
It's like, it's a mob level of like...
Nice morning you're having there. Shame if something happened to it. Wilkins.
See, I hear you've been using some other coffee grounds. What's that about? You dirty rat. One of them is like a fencing. I always get surprised at what is going to happen. Like Kermit's in a fencing outfit.
On guard, salute Wilkins Coffee. But I don't drink Wilkins Coffee.
And it just hard cuts to the next scene where the other guy is gone and the Kermit puppet is wiping blood off of the sword.
Some learn, some don't.
Damn it. Jeez.
The punchline is always some sort of violence. Like sometimes he'd even get the request out of like is the hey would you like some Wilkins? I'm not sure, I've never had it. And then he shoots him with a cannon or something. It's like, God damn it, he just said he never tried it, dude.
Look, if you don't have enthusiastic love for Wilkins right off the bat, you're a lost cause.
Yeah.
Something bad's gonna happen.
That's the vibe. That's the real vibe there.
Like Firefly style. Like, do you like Wilkins coffee? Nope. Kick him into the engine. Do you like Wilkins coffee? I fucking love Wilkins!
That's the right answer. I think my favorite one was like in a diner where he's got like a cup of coffee and like a waffle plate in one hand. It's like,
Want some Wilkins Coffee with your strawberry shortcake? Can't say that I do.
And then he slams the waffle on top of the guy's head and pours the hot coffee all over him.
You can't say that you don't either.
They torture this fucking Muppet to a point. I love it.
Nick, I want to be clear here. Stranger Than Fanfiction is a different segment. These are real, right?
These are fucking real. I swear to God, Randy, just to look up Wilkins Coffee on YouTube. It's hard to believe, but they're... And there's more than I even said, and they're fucking weird.
Stranger Than Felt Fiction.
There's a good half hour of these. Like, and they're only a couple, like 10 seconds long a piece. Like, yeah, great stuff. I watched, unbelievably, I was in a break room and I caught some of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I was wondering what that was doing on your... So was it, you weren't like... You didn't like seek out Dog the Bounty Hunter.
No, I didn't get hair on my... You know what I want to watch is a guy with a faded blonde mullet run down poor people in the street.
Like I miss Teenage Bounty Hunters on Netflix too, but I'm not about to watch Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. Dog... Ugh. I hate my fucking self. Dog had a pretty good idea for when he was about to take in a bail jumper. A pretty good idea for police reform. Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I'm terrified to ask.
So before they go and get this guy, they're all circle up and pray, which I'm like, oh, Jesus God. But then the weirdest thing happened because they said like, hey, let's all be safe out there. Let's make sure we save, and let's make sure that we get this guy. He has like, because they said something about their mothers or like, this guy we're coming, he has a mother too, and she wants to be able to see him. So, right, so let's take this guy in and let's not have to resort to violence or anything like that. And I saw, I'm like, oh my God, they mentioned the guy's by name, and they mentioned he has a mother. They mentioned like, he has a mother, Margaret, and like they mentioned the mother's name before they go in and arrest this guy to take and take to the bail bondsman. Or detain them, or whatever the fuck bounty hunters do. I don't really remember. But I was like, holy shit. Dog, I'm gonna have to give you props here. That's a good idea for before you police are about to like go through and bust someone's door open for apartment, is to like actually refer to them as a person and give them a name and like, hey, their mom has a name too, and humanize them so that it would be harder for you to like violate someone's right if you knew their name and like knew them as a person and humanize them. And I was like, I cannot believe Dog the fucking Bounty Hunter is making me go, wow, what a great human rights advocate right there.
So I've heard that from the other direction because of just watching all of Silicon Valley last month. Jared in one episode, they're sure that they're going to get their asses beat from, I don't know, somebody. I don't know if it's a CEO or what, Techno or somebody, but they think they're going to get their asses beat. And Jared's advice right before the guy bursts in is, you want to say your name over and over to your attacker because it makes them view you as a human. And then when the guy pops in, like, Jared immediately crumples into a ball and just keeps saying his name over and over. I am a person. I am Jared.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was fucking weird. I watched Fast 9, really enjoyed it. I watched, because of a discussion me and Les had, I watched Daybreakers, which is just a great fucking movie. It has a whole season's worth of TV ideas in it, and they just blow through it in an hour and a half like it's nothing. Also, Willem Dafoe hunts vampires with crossbows, so just go fucking watch it. I caught up in Reincarnated as a Slime. A pink dragon girl fought a giant tiger angel, and I was like, oh, thank God, we're back to normal. Finished up Mythic Quest. Great season 2. Really liked it. It feels like it's like a series finale. I'm not sure if like whether they go for another season, but I could be wrong.
I bet they're doing a season. I can totally see it.
Sure, I can kind of get it. I tried to watch, like, a friend of mine tried to have me watch Chernobyl again, and I got through exactly like one episode, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can tell it's a good show, but when the guys outside, the firemen, are come out to the nuclear site and they're like, hey, Steve, do you taste metal? I'm like, oh God, I can't. No, I'm like, it's like you're slowly watching these people die.
Everybody in an 8-mile radius of this show dies. Like,
Yeah, I can't. I can't do it either. The Chernobyl showrunner is, by all accounts, really talented. He did the Watchmen podcast with Damon Lindelof. I really want to give it a shot. I have friends of mine who love it, but it's way too bleak. I can't do it. Even living here in 2021, I can't go watch.
like
Chernobyl.
characters on the show on either side of it on HBO's schedule got cancer on their shows and with no plot in it. Yeah.
I caught up also on My Hero Academia, which had the greatest life lesson for one of the characters. There's the one that sweats nitroglycerin, which is an awesome power. He had a whole thing of like, hey, we got a plan for like this test they were doing, and it was some sort of hero course test, and they made a huge deal about it. And like halfway through the episode, he was like, okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. If you get into trouble, I'm gonna save you. And I was like, okay, I guess that's the first half of it. And then the next half of it, like 10 minutes down the line, like it's a big thing. Okay, and then if I get into trouble, you save me. You just described the basic concept of teamwork. And I guess it's because this guy is such an asshole, he's figuring it out for the first time that it's a big deal for him. But like, you do realize that everyone else here like was on the same page with that. They weren't gonna just leave you out in the cold because like it was like, oh, I kind of figured this out. It works better if we like work together. Yeah, it sure does. Thanks for helping out, Bakugo. Although this is the only character where I really appreciate him. His reason for being a hero is that villains are pussies. Because like they capture him to like give him like, since he's so angry and so like corruptible, they grab him and try to like, hey, wouldn't it be more awesome to be a villain? Are you kidding me? You're 8 adults tying a child to a chair and you're afraid of me. You guys are fucking pussies. That's what villains are. Fucking pussies. You let me out of here. I'll fucking wreck your shit. And I was like, well, that's an interesting response for why someone's a hero. Normally it's, great power becomes responsibility. This one is like, because I don't want to be seen like a bitch. But yeah, that was my TV diaries.
Les?
Let's see. I watched a random episode of Downton Abbey because Lisa was watching it, and I didn't have anything better to put on because TV's been a little sparse. Despite TV being sparse, I watched a shitload of stuff. The Flash continues to be awful.
But you're gonna watch it all the way to the end, aren't you?
Sons of bitches, yes, of course I am. Got to see it through at this point. I've started chewing it. I can't just spit it back on the plate. Watched a couple episodes of Panic over on Amazon. Interviewed Lee Eddy, one of the actors from it, and she's great. She was also in Cruel Summer, which I finished out as well. Watched a Good Fight because of Nick talking about it. I realized that he had watched The Good Wife, but not Good Fight, and so we'd had a discussion about relative merits of each, and so I had to start rewatching it. Legends of Tomorrow, of course, is still Legends of Tomorrow. Watched an episode of Disney Plus's greatest time travel show, Best Friends Whenever. Watched The Return of Evil, which I honestly thought this was always on Paramount Plus, and we'll talk about that more in a moment.
Yeah.
Just because of how I consume TV, but I'm really liking how unleashed the upcoming season appears to be. Because of you geeking out about it, I watched a bunch of happy endings. God, that's a wonderful show.
It is. It holds up beautifully, right?
I really think it does. I mean, all sitcoms are going to have like at least one through line of jokes that I'm like,
yeah,
but it's not terrible. Mysterious Benedict Society. I watched the first 2 episodes of that over on Disney Plus. Quite fun. Very
nice.
Weird Willy Wonka, Sherlock Holmes-y kind of thing.
Yeah, we're talking about that next week. I'm looking forward to catching it.
Finished out watching Herbie Rides Again, which I had started a couple of weeks ago. That is the second Herbie movie and makes some really scary implications about the sentient object world in Disney. And I feel like this should be more widely explored.
What is the through line from Herbie to Maximum Overdrive to Cars?
Exactly. See, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
They're evolving, and I don't think anybody's tracking this, and I feel like this should be addressed.
Well, according to Toy Story 4, every inanimate object is 2 googly eyes and a pipe cleaner away. from sentience.
Yeah. I mean, that goddamn spork. So I watched over on Paramount. I think this may have just been released. I don't know. I flipped over to Paramount to watch Good Fight. And I ended up watching this first. Dragging the Classics, which is something MTV has done. They basically like doing a early season WandaVision episode. They just took an entire Brady Bunch episode and cast all the female parts, like Jan, Marsha, Pam. Is that the other one?
Jan, Marsha, Cindy.
Cindy. Yeah. Jan, Marsha, Cindy, Alice, Carol Brady. They are all RuPaul drag queen contestants. Or RuPaul Drag Race contestants.
Okay, sure.
And they just do a complete Brady Bunch episode, and it's fantastic. So watching the three daughters on the Brady Bunch be drag queens makes that shit so much cattier and funnier. And then for all the guy parts, like for the brothers, they got they just don't have Greg in the episode. They picked an episode with no Greg. And they got the original cast. So it's like one up, like the original Greg Brady is the dad, is Mike, and so on down. Then I think the original Cindy and Jan show up as well. But yeah, it's absolutely bizarre. The weirdest thing about it is that they end it with some bloopers and stuff. And so like when they call it, the person playing Alice walks back to the wall and like acts like they're going to flip a light switch. And it all turns back to green screen. And you realize that they are on basically like a high school one-act set. It's just huge rectangle like blocks that are all green screen material in like a back set, that's green screen on a green floor. And everything about every room in this sitcom has been projected. Has been green screen. And it definitely is not Mandalorian level, but I was shocked. Like, it made me realize that, like, oh, shit. If the best you need, like, if you don't need it to look like Mayor of Easttown, like, if it can look like Melissa and Joey, you can totally fucking do this. Like, you can totally get away with this. Yeah, I was amazed. Anyway, it was hysterical. Finished out watching, I think there's 3 more episodes left of HBO's Generation. That's a wonderful show. Half-hour episodes, is both poignant and hysterically funny. Really good. Been rewatching The Outsider with Fanny. She's loving it, but she won't watch it alone. And so I've also gotten to rewatch The Outsider.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
On the second watch through, it is so beautifully shot. I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on it the first time. And this time I'm just watching for all the times that you start one room away from the action and are literally outside the scene through 2 doors in a hallway. Like, there's just a lot of time spent setting up the shots. Watched an episode of 30 Rock as a chaser after watching Outsider. And then Motherland Fort Salem came back and is absolutely wonderful. I still can't believe that Elliot Lawrence, who did Claws, like, this is the other show he had in his back pocket. Like, okay, I got 2 options for you. We're either going to make my show about a nail salon next to an OxyContin dealer, or what if witches were a separate segment of the U.S. Army? Wait, what, dude?
No, what's great is I guarantee you he's got like 5 more pitches and they're all completely different.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I from what I've heard, Motherland is something that he had written for like wanted to do for a long time, like had this whole world set up and was like, okay, cool. But I think I can actually get this Florida nail salon thing made, which Claus is fucking rad. But this is so different. I love it.
So I went to the theater, saw F9, The Fast Saga, because every Fast and Furious movie needs to have a completely different naming
I thought
nomenclature.
there's some more testosterone coming off of you. I could somehow smell it through the Skype call.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the last 3 episodes of Superman and Lois, which has been getting really interesting. It has some really big reveals. I think maybe that might wrap up next week after, maybe. I feel like it's 12 or 13 episodes, and we'll probably
taking like a 2-week.
They're
taking like a 2-week break right now, which is some
Boo.
bullshit. Sorry, mid-season breaks are fucking stupid.
but I think it's a short season. I assume it's not 22.
I don't know.
It feels like they're ramping toward an end, but we'll see. I'm really enjoying it.
I've been watching Flash for 7 years. I would absolutely watch 22 episodes of Supes and Lois. Just throwing that out there to the universe.
I don't want that. I want short seasons like Stargirl. I want them to get it and do it right. But I finished up Mythic Quest, which was indeed great. I watched The Good Fight back. Watched The Bad Batch. Episode 4 of Physical. Physical, maybe one of my favorite watches right now. It's pretty intense, and I'm loving it. I caught The Chase and The Hustler, both of which have been excellent lately. Watched Iron Man 3 with my son. We're making our way through Marvel movies. Our next up is Thor 2, so that's gonna be a little rough. Watched 8 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen, which we're talking about next week, and I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So we'll see where we go there. I'll be curious to see what Les thinks of it. I watched an episode of Kevin Can Fuck Himself because Les had watched it. It's weird. I don't know if I like it or not, but it's weird.
Same.
It's intriguing.
I think they should have put 2 episodes out immediately.
Yeah.
And
I want to know.
I'm eager to go watch more, but they should have put 2 up at once.
I want to know what the show looks like. I can't tell what, because the stuff that is actually just the Kevin James bullshit that they're doing, basically, I really do just want to stab him. I hate it. I wouldn't watch that sitcom. I hate all those sitcoms.
But they nail it. I mean, it is exactly those sitcoms.
It's dead on. But that's the problem. There's too much of it.
Yeah.
It's like WandaVision.
And that's, I don't know if we're going to slide towards, like...
Because if it's half and half the whole way, I am not into it.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm hoping that it's not evenly split the whole way and that, like, we're at a 70-30 bad sitcom to reality split right now that's going to cross into, like, all the characters getting dragged into reality.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that she
so.
slowly wakes people up one at a time or something, but I don't know.
Right.
I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm not sold on it yet.
And then I watched the last week tonight, which is the last one until I think August. I think he's taking a break for a little while. But it was another super depressing one about ministry-based healthcare. I don't know if you guys saw
Health
this
ministries.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, when it popped up, I knew it was going to be bad, and it was somehow worse than I expected. And John Oliver, it's to the point where it's like, man, I laugh at this, but it is got to be like watching The Daily Show with Jon Stewart toward the end, where it's just like, man, I need to know this stuff, but I don't want to know this stuff.
Well, we're not going to do anything about I have no faith in any mechanism that will be fixing any of this.
Right, that's the thing. It's just telling us how awful things are.
And it's not on him. He lines out there's always a part in his segment of like, and what do we do about this? And I'm like, nothing, John. Whatever you're saying next is going to be a great plan that and hear me out, we just won't do.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the only time he every once in a while he'll get one like the FCC thing of like, hey, send letters to the FCC and here's the website you can go to here, or something specific like whatever he set up with like a website or some go-to page or something. But or he'll set up like a foundation for something but otherwise it's like, and I know it's like, oh, but we got to stay active and then take to the streets or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's every time I watch or hear Pod Save America, like that's the answer for everything. And and I'm like, yeah, but like, what else? Like, can we do anything else?
What is it accomplishing what is it accomplishing? Yeah.
Like, do we literally have to mobilize the entire country to go camp out in the streets for months at a time for every single thing? Like, that's nuts.
It can be, it's sometimes entertaining, and I don't remember, I did get a laugh when I realized where he was going when he's like, and so we set up one in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Like that cracked me up. But again, it is almost sort of like, it's nice. The absurdity is like the dessert after you've been force fed all your veggies. It's a little rough. And then just on a sort of a whim, I watched 3 episodes of Flack on Amazon, which is a British show starring Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
And it's about PR flacks for like celebrities. Everyone in that show is terrible, and it's deeply entertaining.
Okay.
What's a flack?
PR flack.
A PR company.
Oh, okay.
So she's like a
shill for a person.
And they're doing, the 3rd episode involves an older British comedian who basically made some transphobic jokes, got called up by a trans comedian who was in the audience, and their job is basically to make that all work. and they basically get the trans comedian to sell herself out to join his tour, and it's awful, and it is like, oh, everybody here is just doing what they can to make themselves famous and rich, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, that seems about right though, and it's just it's awful, but it's not in the same way like Last Week Tonight is. It's like, oh, this is celebrity culture. I don't care as much about this.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny, and Anna Paquin's amazing. I mean, Anna Paquin's the lead. She's in Narcotics Anonymous because she's halfway trying to stop doing coke.
Well, she's always into that vampire blood. I never see her stop doing it.
Right.
And she's like having sex with random men, even though she's trying to get pregnant by her boyfriend. She's also taking birth control because she's not sure she wants to be pregnant. She's lying about it. It's like she is awful on many levels, and yet so compelling that I love it. Anyway, that's my new discovery, and I'm probably going to keep up with that. So, all right, let's jump over to talk about Stranger Than Fan Fiction.
Imagine, if you will, a reality containing television programs so bizarre they are indistinguishable from the ravings of a madman. Is the show you are about to hear simply a fabrication in the mind of a man with clearly nothing better to do with his time? Or is the truth indeed stranger than fan fiction?
Okay. Let's see. What's going to be... No, it wasn't Kyle's turn. I think it's Randy's turn this week. So...
Okay, give me my letters and numbers and whatever.
All right,
The
your
quadratic
letters
equation.
for this week are Z and M.
You know I'm going to go Z. Give me
Well,
Z.
you gotta go Z. That's almost as good as V that Anna Paquin was doing, but it's a little different. It's cut a little different. There's like some rat poison in that vampire blood. Okay, I got it here. All right, this is my jewel of the Stranger Than fan fictions. I was trying to find because this show was inspired by the Mighty Ducks cartoon, and I love Ninja Turtle knockoffs and like old odd property based cartoons that you don't like, that no one like knows exist. And
Oh.
I was trying to find one, but I'm like, I bet you Les at least knows what the fuck this is. And Randy has kids, so he definitely knows what the fuck this is. And but I found one that it never went to full series, but it was an aired pilot. Have you guys heard of the animated Sandlot cartoon?
No.
I've also never seen this. I've never seen the Sandlot. So
Are you kidding me?
Nope, I haven't.
You're killing me here, Smalls.
Megan yells at me about this every week because I have not
Megan
seen the
is
Sandlot.
correct.
Yeah. God damn it.
Make you go over the fence and get the ball back for that.
Forever. Well, anyway, this will be lost on you, Randy, I guess, but less it's for your enjoyment. It was a project by Denise Rodriguez, which she was behind a lot of the other stuff for like Mighty Ducks, Ninja Turtles, and all this other stuff. But this one was for Boomerang. So, or no, what was it for? Because they went with something else. Never mind. It might not have been Boomerang, but it was one of those not prestigious cartoon networks.
Please tell me that they are aliens that mistook our hierarchy for children running the world.
Okay, they can't, like, it's not that good. I couldn't find something as good as Mighty Ducks, but it's pretty close. Like they decided to go with the concept is that there's a bunch of dogs that play baseball.
Okay, go on.
The main character is Hercules from the Sandlot, because that was the dog's name, remember?
Okay.
So they have a whole team of neighbor dogs, and they're all kind of like nicknamed after what do you call it? Greek mythology. Like there's Odie, but it's spelled with like a Y, and it's short for Odysseus. Like I wouldn't have known this if I didn't look up on the IMDb like the full character thing, because they never really refer to it. But it's a cute little in-joke that I kind of like. And they have a Perseus, or named Percy. They have one of my favorite characters is this, I forget what they call him, but he's based off of Narcissus. And he's a German Shepherd. And he is a a very like everyone can't stop of how attractive this dog is. Unless before you even fucking say anything, yes, they do refer to him as a hot dog.
Oh no, I was just thinking, please tell me they have a German Shepherd that they call Narc.
Oh, that would have been a better name. I can't remember what the name was, but that's
God damn
definitely
it.
better.
Fuck that show.
That's definitely better. I love that Les was like, you know what? Could have been perfect, but
no, you whiffed
fuck
it on you missed 2 T-balls there, Sandlot. Also, why aren't you called Majors League?
Damn. That's also good. Okay, well, the narcissist hot dog, he so there's this one line that I'm pretty sure it was not meant to come off this way, but he said a line about how German shepherds are the hottest type of shepherd, or the best looking shepherd, or best looking type of dog, or best looking breed. And the way they said, I wish I wrote it down. The way that he said it made it very sound like the German line was superior to other lines of dogs. And I was like, wait a second here. It never comes up again. It never comes up again. But it was really weird. My mind went there. I'm not sure if that says more about me or about the show, but it was awkward. So they play baseball against some of these other dogs, and I guess the idea was that they were going to play parodies of other famous cartoon dogs. I'm not sure if this would have kept going, but the one they play in the beginning, they bring in a ringer, their other team, and it's what was it? Larry the Large Blue Lab, and it's like Clifford the Big Red Dog. He's giant, and he plays the outfield. He just has to lean over and catch stuff. He doesn't even have to run for the balls. So they can't get fucking anything past this guy. But they learn later that his ground game is awful. He can't field a grounder to save his fucking short dog life. Because he can't pick up anything on the ground, so they just grounder everything way through his ball. Like, I think the lesson of the show is supposed to be, don't always swing for the fence. Sometimes be more like clever in the way you do, like sometimes failing the right way is better than succeed. I don't know. It was fucking stupid. I was really, I'm like, oh man, I'm actually sad this show didn't go farther. I was wondering what other dogs they would parody if that's the way they were going with. Like, would one of them show up and be like Scooby-Doo, but he's trying to solve some baseball mystery in the background? That would be great. Or maybe like Muttley from the Wacky Racers. Like he's I like, what other like famous like dog parodies could we have done? But it was down between this and another dog show. Actually, it was called Kipper. I'm not sure if anyone knows what Kipper is. It's a British. Oh, Randy, you know?
I was gonna make. Is it actually the British food thing?
Oh no, it's a British dog show. I know that.
Oh, okay.
It's a British cartoon dog show, and they greenlit that instead of the Sandlot cartoon. But this did air, so it technically counts for Stranger Than Fanfiction. It aired as a TV special. So, any questions so far?
No, the only question I have is: you gave us away? This are you saying it aired? So you're telling this is real, or are you saying you might be bullshitting us and none of this is real?
Well, I'm telling you it's real, but I always say it's real. But like, yeah, it's real.
Okay.
So like
sure, I get it.
because I have no way to verify if that was the dog's name in Sandlot. I mean, without looking that up. And
I also can't.
There's no good way to verify unless you saw pilots air and go away. It can be hard to find them. So there's no good way to verify this unless you saw it happen.
All right, I have no questions thus far. It appears to be a show about dog baseball.
I mean, I do and don't. Like, I have many questions, but I don't want to ask any of them. I don't want to ask any of them.
All right. So, what do you guys think? Real or
why don't you pick this first this week?
I'm gonna say it's real.
I agree. I think this is real.
All right. Well, guys, this show is just me wanting it to be real. It's fake.
If that's the case, then hear me out. The dogs are aliens from another planet. They get to Earth and they think, based on all available evidence, that children are clearly monarchs. and everyone does everything fawningly to keep them safe and alive. And so the dogs challenge kids to a kid game for domination of the planet.
Now,
And so the dogs have to, alien dogs learning stickball to take on these kids, and then having to pretend to be dogs the rest of the time.
I love that you mixed in Space Jam with Mighty Ducks. Like, it was like, what if Mighty Ducks was dumber?
Space confit.
here's the thing, guys. This is going to be a show on Disney Plus by the end of this year.
Right?
I'm just
Right.
saying, they're doing a Turner and Hooch reboot, man. There is nothing Disney Plus won't do. Disney Plus isn't scared of you.
It sounds pretty real, right?
I want to be in charge of a Castle Rock style Disney movie universe thing on Disney Plus more than anything in the world. Like all of their Strongest Man, weird Kurt Russell bullshit, like Absent-Minded Professor, all of those movies are at the same college in the same fucking fictitious town in Disney, and this needs to be exploited. Like
Like they knock a home run into the lab of the guy that made Flubber.
yeah.
Caesar Romero's their mobster in that town. It's a great setup. I'm not joking. It's so good.
Boy, this hammer reminds me of Wilkins Coffee.
Why?
Because it always hits the spot. Ooh.
All right, well, this seems like a good time to remind you that you can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us a buck an episode. In exchange, we get to keep up our streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, it is time to check in on F9, the Fast Saga with Nick and Randy. And just a reminder that if you're feeling the need for family and fast cars right now, we did a Patreon marathon of all 8 previous Fast and Furious movies, plus Hobbs and Shaw. So if you join for $1 a week, you can go back and listen. I'm going to put links in this week's episode, so you can listen to what Kyle, Randy, and Les thought of all the Fast and Furious to this point.
Did we even discuss Better Luck Tomorrow?
We did talk about it in there. Yes, we didn't do a separate one, but it's covered. and then you can hear what Nick and I think of F9.
It's fine.
We also have our $20. Oh God, I actually made a joke about that on my roadcast. I was like, yes. Is it possible that the title of this is Fine, the Fast Saga? That is they misunderstood. That's just what the executive said when he greenlit it. Is just like, fine, the Fast Saga, whatever. It's gonna make $1 billion. It
doesn't matter what we name this fucking thing anyway.
Right? Yeah, this is gonna be like Arrested Development, like movie TBD, highest grossing film.
We lost title consistency after Too Fast, Too Furious.
I know everybody's been saying that that if they don't do fasten your seatbelts, they've just missed an opportunity, and I can see that being the tagline. But I saw someone the other day online suggest that it's going to be FX.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, God damn it, that's the winner.
Yeah,
yep,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Or
Jason
Fast X
X
Furious.
We also have our $20 showrunner level. So if there are shows you want us to throw in the rotation, you can buy in that level and give us a couple of ideas. To remind you, you don't have to pay $20 every week for the entire year. You just got to get on that. Just got to get on that the one time, and then you can cancel it after you're charged.
So they could pay $20 one time and make us watch something like, I don't know,
No, stop. No, whatever you're gonna say, stop. No, whatever you're gonna say, don't say it.
I was just gonna say Cowboys of Mumesa.
God damn it, Nick.
Yes, I will watch that again.
We could learn about the Code of the West, or in the acronym COW. Do you get it?
Brandy, do you get it though?
I wish I didn't.
The O is for of.
We are, I should mention, a little backlogged right now. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up. So next week you can expect Jujutsu Kaisen, and then in coming weeks, Taskmaster, Anohana, and Psycho-Pass. But this week we're jumping back to Paramount Plus with one original show and one show that was a CBS show and is now a Paramount Plus show. Both are run by the husband and wife team of Robert and Michelle King. And let's talk first about The Good Fight. First, I want to say, I was the one who was the come lately to this because Les had been talking it up. I'd never seen an episode of The Good Wife, and I liked the cast, but I was like, I don't do legal dramas. I don't know if I want to watch this. And Les finally talked it up, and I think it was the alternate episode where Trump was never elected president. That I was like, God damn it, I got to watch that. So I watched all of it, fell in love with it, and now I'm 100% caught up on it. But Nick, you had the daunting task of trying to catch up on it this week.
Yeah, me and Les for another project that didn't really make it off the ground. Maybe we'll do something with it other someday. Watched The Good Wife, uh, and or it made me watch The Good Wife, and I really liked that show. So I
Mhm.
started watching The Good Fight this week, and I made it through 2 seasons, and I realized, oh shit, you know what was wrong with The Good Wife? The wife. We need to get her the fuck out of there, because she was bringing this whole story down. Let's hang out with these other characters.
So I wound up after Good Fight. I went and watched a season of Good Wife, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not as good as The Good Fight.
No. Over Nick and I were talking about this earlier this week. Over the course of The Good Wife, as the secondary, like all the surrounding characters, supporting cast really comes into their own, and eventually, you lose some principal cast, like Josh Charles goes away and cast changes out. By the end of the show, yeah, the core of who the Good Wife has become, I really don't like her by the end of the show. It's
Yeah.
great that she's found her strength, but I kind of hate her as a character by the end. And I want to see all the supporting cast go forward, and then Good Fight jumping over to Paramount Plus, which it was a really not guaranteed hit or anything.
No.
Hey, on this new streaming service that nobody has, that nobody's sure anybody's going to get, here is The Good Wife, sans the wife, and we're just gonna go forward. But it was like they were unshackled, like just immediate, like
Mhm.
they could do whatever the fuck they wanted. I feel like more than most shows that jump to Paramount Plus or jump to streaming, Good Fight handled its "we can swear, yay" moment better than almost anybody. At the start of
Yeah.
Good Fight, Christine Baranski's watching the election results come in, and Trump wins, and she just turns the TV off, drops the remote, and goes, "Fuck."
Mhm.
And it's like, well, it's a new world. We're on Paramount Plus now, bitches.
Who cares?
Isn't that the first line of the pilot?
Just basically, yeah. Oh yeah. The Good Fight's pilot, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, they set that. So, The Good Fight. We're gonna give a couple things away, Nick. Or try not to spoil everything. But season 5 came back for one episode this week, and as you talked about, Les, Good Wife kind of started shedding cast members and changing its cast. Good Fight does the same thing here. Good Fight is slowly but surely changing its cast pretty notably, especially this season. They lost 2 of their major characters. I'm a little worried about it.
Mhm.
But it is, and they lost their one of their leads, the woman who played Ygritte, the woman who plays Maya Rendell.
Mhm.
She is not in for the long haul on Good Fight either.
No, but honestly, she'd kind of been fading out after the second or third season. Whenever she had her moment with Michael Sheen, who also is never going to be a long hauler. I mean, he's always going to pop in and out.
Right.
I'm in season 2
Right.
right now, and she's doing the thing where she might be cheating on her DA girlfriend with this other girlfriend. I'm like, oh, they have no idea what to do with this character anymore. We're doing a love triangle. They're bankrupt for stories. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, Rose Leslie, and she ends up leaving the show or basically sailing off into the sunset as a much meaner person.
Yeah.
Which good for her, but also she's a much meaner person.
Well, she had to be like mean in order to survive, which I
Mhm.
thought was kind of an interesting.
That's interesting because The Good Wife is the same way, from what I can tell. Usually in the heroic arc, with the exception of something like Breaking Bad, usually the protagonist learns and grows and becomes better. But the Kings seem to be doing this thing where their protagonists get worse and worse.
Well, at the very least, like their protagonists are frequently women who have to learn to stop constantly putting every other character in the show ahead of them.
Yeah.
And frequently that comes off looking real shitty.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me about Good Wife and Good Fight is that often, like, they'll have any supporting character, female character, is frequently so fucking villainous that you want to punch them. I mean, they're just awful
For no reason.
and it's
that's
because
true.
they start them from it. Like
Yeah.
they never give you like Diane joins the start of Good Fight. Diane joins Reddick Bozeman,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the third partner hates Diane from the start, but hates her with that like stop tilting your head down that far, you look psycho kind of hate
Yeah.
of like you
Yeah.
can't start from here, like who's the guy that's in Legion? Like, dude, you got to roll it back a little. If you have anywhere to go, you look insane from the pilot.
Dan
Yeah.
Stevens.
Dan Stevens, like you look crazy from frame
Yeah.
1 of the movie, dude, and you need somewhere to go.
Also, their motivations don't really make a lot of sense other than I hate Diane because I guess she's mad that the law firm is no longer all black, I guess. Then she later she'll go to move to another completely white lawyer firm.
Yeah,
and
her retaliation for that is to go to
and I'm like, wait, what's your deal? Like,
Yeah,
why are you
and-
just so shitty?
And they did the same in Good Wife with like Carrie at the DA's office. He was constantly running afoul of, and it was almost invariably a younger black woman, and she would always look like the character would just be a foil, like just mean.
But the thing I like about it though, their lead characters, Delroy Lindo's amazing, and Christine Baranski's
Yes.
both fantastic. But they're not the reason I watch this show. Like, they're always good, but they half the time are doing things that are bad. The reason I watch this show is Cush Jumbo, fantastic name, playing what's her character's name? Luca Quinn. Love her. Love Marissa.
Oh yeah, Sarah Steele is the reason that I watched that. I love Marissa.
And love when she shows up, Elsbeth.
Elspeth Tassione.
Hear me out. So when the season came back this time, we see what everybody's been doing for the past year, and we know that Marissa has finally gotten annoyed and is going to try to become a lawyer. And I desperately want for there to be a third out of the ashes good fight, out of the good, whatever the next good iteration is.
Yeah.
And I want it to be Elspeth and Marissa hanging up a shingle together and show me that law firm. I want an Elspeth show so fucking bad. I mean, if you told me 10 years ago how big a crush I'd have at this moment on Christine Baranski, I'd like, you're insane. But
right.
But holy crap, Elspeth is the best lawyer on television.
The good fugue state.
Can Jay be their investigator? Because I want that.
Yes,
too.
I was really worried in this first episode for Jay.
Me too. I was afraid they were gonna, because they had to have somebody catch him.
Yeah.
And I was really afraid they were gonna kill him. But they do this weird thing. It reminds me of what David E. Kelly used to do with Ally McBeal, the weirdness of it. But him having a debate with Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, and who else is the other hallucination who shows up in his room?
It's a weird set of people.
God, it's a weird set of people who are just like talking to him about shit, and because he's hallucinating. But that's all really entertaining.
Karl Marx is there.
Karl Marx, yes, that's the other one. Luca's whole thing, like, I knew they were writing Cush Jumbo out, so I knew where they were going. But I was also like, there was never a point where I was like, no, she should definitely take what they're offering her. They were always offering her the worst end of the deal.
Yeah, there was never a reason for her to really stay. Yeah,
I thought this as a structure was interesting, and I don't know if this was by necessity, but basically what they did with the episode back of 5th season, they did previously on, and they cover all the events of 2020 as lens to the characters. So we saw the Trump
Julius.
What was the Trump thing in there? Yes, Julius. That was very interesting. We saw the COVID and all that kind of stuff. We saw the George Floyd thing, and basically it all plays really nicely into them. They take real world stuff, and then they throw their fictitious stuff at it, and it works. It's been the formula of the show going forward, but I thought it went really well as this previously on. This is what happens this month. It's almost self-indulgent because it is just like, here's all the good stuff. There's no like subplots or anything here. This is just all the meat of the season.
Just highlights. I felt like that gave them the opportunity to write Delroy Lindo off in a way that tied in better than most shows I've ever seen. I mean, it's granted, it's still a bit like I mean, they didn't kill him off camera or something, but it's a bit like that. I mean, they just kind of quick wrote him off, it felt, but I like that they tie it to the Atlanta elections and the George Floyd stuff. Like what he's going to do is interesting, and was at least like oh cool, that's a next act for you. Because
do we know where he's
Atlanta.
going? Do we know what Delroy?
Delroy Lindo, what he's doing? No idea.
Yeah, because Cush Jumbo's got an AMC show, and I understand.
I didn't know where she was jumping to either.
Yeah. she's got an AMC miniseries, but I'm like,
I wasn't
both these
entirely
people are
sure.
like, man.
I believe she is actually British, and I wasn't entirely sure that travel restrictions or something that didn't just that she wasn't on the fence about how long to stay on the show and was like, eh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't know what all happened.
When I saw Delroy Lindo, I was like, I don't know if you're going to be able to keep him for the entire series.
I'm amazed he's been on this long because, like you said, they've always arced people out, and so I'm interested to see who they bring in. I can't remember who who Luca's Justin Bartha, Colin Morello, the
didn't he kind of vanish?
And he kind of vanished off as well because she ended up having that kid and being like, no, I don't need you on this. And they wrote him off, and I think he went on to another show that had a season, but anyway, like they've always kind of brought people on and moved them off. So I'm not terribly worried about like.
Well, they wrote off Julius's character only for him to come back in the next season with no explanation.
The only thing that bugged me last season, and I feel like they got cut short last season by the oncoming COVID stuff.
They did, and that's why I wonder, because it did kind of just drop, and I wonder if some of this stuff was going to be a longer story.
And now there's some 618 stuff that, like Memo 618 stuff that's still going in this season, because that Memo 618 thing is interesting and cutesy, abstract in their way, like in the way of the show, but it's also such a big conceit that that without a lot of time to really establish it, it's weird. And last season, it just felt like I'm sorry, you can't bring this up and then have it bedded back down in 7 episodes or 8 episodes, y'all. Like, what?
Right.
What? Like, this is too weird. People are getting like blank sheets of paper with just Memo 618 written in the center of it. That's it. Like, Nick, it is some Happy Town level weird.
It does get weird.
And so I was kind of glad that they kept it going because they can't just let it drop. Exactly. But at the same time, like they have some explaining to do.
It looks like Mandy Patinkin is coming in.
Okay. See,
play a new character. Yeah. So that's not bad. But seriously, I mean, I'm gonna miss Luca Quinn. She's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a little worried about it, but this episode back was like, oh right, this is what I love about it.
Just bring me more Elspeth.
Which brings me to Evil. Evil was a big surprise to me. I did not expect to like this. It was a procedural thing on CBS. It's all about religion, which I have plenty of issues with. And then I watched it after hearing good reviews, I think, from you, Les, and from my buddy Dave, who rarely watches TV, but who like fell in love with this show. And I really loved it. And finding out that it's the Kings and seeing some of their other stuff, I'm like, this was really good. But then we come back to season 2, and they have moved it to Paramount Plus. This definitely had a big tone change. Like it's darker. They're cursing. It is hilarious to me. I went to they did a trailer for Evil on like the official Evil Facebook page or whatever, and the comments were 95% people being salty about them moving a network show to Paramount Plus. And I was like, well, this is what you want to explain. You want to go in and explain. You don't have. I don't have this kind of time, but I wanted to go in and individually explain to each person. Hey, you know this show that you say you loved, and now you'll never watch again because they put it on Paramount Plus? Guess what? You were never going to get to watch it again anyway because it would not have happened on CBS.
The other option was not keep it on CBS. You fuckwits.
Exactly. People do not understand that.
Yeah, I thought this was always on Paramount.
If it was doing well, they would have kept it on there.
Yeah, I thought this was always on Paramount Plus because it's so weird.
It is, yeah.
I mean, the tone is Frighteners weird. I remember when Peter Jackson's Frighteners hit theaters, and coworkers in my office were like, I have no idea if that was thinking it was funny or horror or what. And I was like, it's spectacular. It's perfect. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about Evil, but it also gave me a sense of like, does a regular CBS audience come off of NCIS and watch this?
Yeah, they're like, what happened? That's when the edibles kick in, right? After NCIS finishes.
Like when your therapist is actually a 9-foot tall devil with horns and goat legs, and he's like, so tell me about the girl.
So I want to jump over again. Les, I know you and I have seen all of this. Nick, how much Evil did you watch? What were your thoughts?
I watched the first couple episodes, or first few episodes of season 1, and then I jumped over to season 2 to watch the first episode of that. The tone jump is weird, because it's not like it was like happy-go-lucky, like light and fluffy, but it is like weirdly like, hey, we don't have to worry about appeasing a network audience anymore, kind of dark.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When I read the synopsis when I first was gonna go watch it, I hadn't like I brought it up on Apple Plus or whatever, and Paramount Plus, I guess, and the synopsis was something like a investigator of miracles and possessions teams up with a psychiatrist to determine whether or not a man is being possessed or it is like some sort of mental condition. And I was like,
Right.
okay, like, well, you never judge a book by its cover, but this book cover is fucking stupid.
Yes, and that's
Catholic X-Files is what I thought I was getting into.
yeah. Do you guys remember a show? I know. I'm looking at IMDb. Skeet Ulrich was the lead. Do you guys remember this show? It was called
Mm-mm.
Miracles, and it was a show, 2003 show. I think it was on Fox, and it was Paul investigates modern miracles for the Catholic Church. After he witnesses a true supernatural miracle, only for his findings to be dismissed, Paul leaves behind the church and is approached by Alva Keel to join his organization. It's so similar to the premise here. It is basically religious guy, not sure about his faith, with a team investigating miracles. Like it is very similar, but it was Skeet Ulrich, and I thought we were going to get that, and it is not that at all.
I like the concept of this guy, this religious guy that does believe in God and possession and stuff, but he actively doesn't want what they are investigating to be a possession. Be like,
Yeah.
no, it would be way easier if this was just a mental thing. Like,
Yeah.
and he admits like it's hard to tell, dude. Like, and if you were to like, if possessions were real, that is like a thing. You'd be like, oh yeah, they'd be hard to tell which is which. So
Yeah, possession is 9/10 of the law, though. So
sure, but how much is demon possession though?
that's the other 10th.
That's the other 10th of the law.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
gotcha. The but the 13th seal would open it up. I don't know. Fuck
The
it.
second
Yes,
bowl
yeah.
or something. I don't know.
The second bowl, the 13th seal.
I haven't been to church so long.
I have a real soft spot for Catholic mythology as a horror setting. Like that's the only acceptable use of the church for me.
Yes, I agree. As fictional horror, the Catholic dogma is fantastic.
Yeah, I have a weird soft spot for Catholic based horror movies, considering how little respect I have for the actual like religion of it.
Yeah.
They're just such a great backstory.
I also like that Michael Emerson is just basically like, hey, is there any way I can just play Benjamin Linus again? I don't really want to put a lot of work into this.
So I wanted to ask you about Michael Emerson, because his character Leyland, honestly, you know how The Good Fight was a spinoff? I want a spinoff of Evil that's just about Leyland and what he's doing. Because I feel like they definitely pulled him front and center in the second season. But had you even seen him before second season, Nick? Had you gotten to him yet?
Oh yeah, he's in the first episode.
Oh, okay. I'd forgotten he was quite so prominent.
They really showcase him of like, oh no, some people are like Mike Coulter says that he's seen him in different guises.
Yeah.
And his goal is just to like to fuck people over, I guess, just to soak evil and chaos.
So I love that there really is a large scale plan happening, and I feel like them moving to Paramount Plus is going to help them lean into that show wide arc, because like Leland's got a plan.
I like the idea of the demons getting organized.
Yeah,
like,
they've got a map, they've got a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they figure out more of that. I did not realize in the first season how much of it was about corrupting her. Yeah. And I should have. Like I don't know if you've seen her get a little proactive with a scalpel, Nick.
Okay, I guess I haven't seen that yet.
Nope. And like it's a turning point moment for her character, but also like you get it. And there's several moments like that, and I just didn't realize until I was watching this first episode in season 2 and was like, son of a bitch, you're bad now.
Yeah, they did a really good job, because like you say, I thought less they were doing a thing. We were so focused on the will they won't they romance stuff with her and Coulter's character that that was like what was in the other hand, while the trick was in the right hand, and the trick was, hey, we're corrupting her right in front of you, and you're not watching it because you're wondering if she's going to fall for the guy.
I believe that's called a Kansas City Shuffle.
I think you're no, it's a Cleveland Steamer. Cleveland Steamer is what it's called.
I didn't make the term up. It's a thing.
Anyway,
ask Dirty Sanchez.
They did no. That's Rick and Morty. I think they did a really good job with this. I think that her story. Also, I have dentist fears anyway, so all that shit with her kid, and the dentist, and the evil teeth is fucking with my head.
Oh, did Steve Martin show up? That would've been
No,
a great cameo.
well, it should make you happy though, because like the dentist kind of gets hers.
Oh yeah, was that real or a hallucination? I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly, I spent a whole episode thinking that the hunting mountain pick thing was a hallucination,
Was
but
real.
now
Yeah,
I'm thinking
yeah.
that's real.
Yeah, but I also love I love Kurt Fuller as her therapist. He usually plays such a douchebag, and here he's playing like a nice therapist who's this woman has just dragged him into a crime that he can't report.
Well, and I love that he was already pretty lovable, and just the like, oh no, I'm as skeptic as they come, but I just watched some real. What happened in there?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
That's some
Yeah.
weird shit.
When he in the first season, there's a moment whenever they drag him in where he puts the sunglasses on, and like you could just see the like, nope, I believe y'all now. Okay.
Yep, yeah. Also, Asif Manvi,
Yes.
I always liked, but they're really giving him stuff to do this season. Every time he's giving Kristen side eye about, wait a minute, what did you do? Because he's figuring it out, and his whole thing about being tortured by the female George,
Yeah.
not from Seinfeld, to be clear.
Oh, sure. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I dug this show in the first season just for the weirdness of it. It's goofy, but also has a real edge to it. And then season 2 leaning into it, it's got this weird Chilling Adventures of Sabrina kind of. I mean, it's obviously a very different tone than that, but it has that same like. I don't know if y'all understand good bad the same way as other people.
Right. Also, hat tip for employing Peter Scolari again, because he's great.
And Dylan
He's great
Baker
here.
coming back.
And Dylan, if Dylan Baker's on a King's show, I can't see him as a guy in the Catholic Church, because man, that dude. Nick, have you seen Dylan Baker's character in The Good Wife or The Good Fight?
Colin Sweeney, that's his name.
Colin Sweeney.
He's
Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I have seen him on The Good Fight. I remember he was on The Good Wife, but
Oh man,
they did have an episode where he like threw away some drugs, or he was with a dominatrix that beat the shit out of him or something.
Mhm. Yep.
He keeps getting prosecuted for killing his wife, or keeps trying to get away with killing his wife, or
Allegedly.
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 Yeah, but him being in here as like a higher up in the Catholic Church, I was like, oh man, I can't. I've seen this guy when you write him, and he's not this guy.
I think it's perfect.
He's way
I don't
way
trust
worse.
anybody that's higher up in the Catholic Church.
Yeah. No, I love it, but it definitely colored my view of his performance.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I mean, I already suspect that bishop is already like on the side of bad. Like when they eventually reveal his turn that he's been working against the our gang the whole time, I'll be like, well, duh,
Yeah.
it's Dylan
Yeah.
Baker.
Yeah,
Well, it's Colin Sweeney.
It's
He's just
Colin
got this
fucking
weird
Sweeney.
Pope fetish now.
Right?
Like, that's what he's
Right?
exploring.
Just because that guy rented that costume and has been played.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that would track.
That
Yeah.
would be funny if Luca just comes up for an episode like, hey, you're about to have some trouble.
Right.
Yeah. I'm glad this is back.
Same.
I think between the two, I'm a bigger fan of The Good Fight now, which is not what I would have expected originally, but they're both really good shows. Nick, you gonna catch up on these? Keep up with them?
Yeah, we're definitely a good fight. Evil, I wasn't as into. Like you said, it's Good Fight was really where I'm into it. But yeah, I'm gonna binge the shit out of Good Fight.
Lunch and Wilkins coffee, 75 cents. I didn't drink the Wilkins. That's $1 even. It pays to drink Wilkins.
All right, let's talk Central Park, which I know, Les, you sort of noped out of this one.
Yeah, I didn't. I
Um,
mean, I just didn't watch it this week. But I what I saw of season 1 did not grab me.
Nick, what did you see of Central Park? This is an Apple Plus show.
I saw the first episode of season 1, and then I saw the first episode of season 2. And yeah, that was all I really. No, that's not true. I was gonna say that's all I had time for. That was all I really wanted to watch.
Fair enough. Okay, so I'm the only one of the TV dudes who likes Central Park.
I guess I don't get it.
I guess part of it is I think the music is good.
Sure.
Like I think the songs are good. The voice cast is amazing. It's got two of the cast from Hamilton in it.
Well, like if you were to describe to me, season 2 starts off with some Ruth Bader Ginsburg motherfucker that is rapping about Hasbro or Haven or New Haven or whatever the fuck.
New Haven, yes. I loved that song.
And I was like, okay, if you were to describe this to me, this sounds hilarious. But for some reason,
Yeah.
while I'm watching it, I'm not laughing. Like,
Yeah, and see,
and I
in
can tell that
season
the song is
2
good. It's not like, no, this song is good. It's actually pretty well written, and the music's
Yeah.
there. I just don't.
Yeah.
Normally, I have a solid reason why something isn't grabbing me, but I can't figure it out for this one.
I will say season 2 also does have an episode, I want to say 2 or 3 in, where it's like roller skaters in the park, and it's got a great choreography song thing. Like, the songs are always where it's at for me. It did wear on for me the first season a little bit, and I was not like as in love with it as I was early on. But watching this come back, and I watched the 2 or 3 episodes that are on there, reminded me, oh yeah, I like this show. I don't love it. If it went away tomorrow, I wouldn't be sad. It's not like
Sure.
not like Zoe's where I'm actively angry that they canceled it. But I think for me, I like a good musical show, and also I like Lauren Bouchard's stuff. I like Bob's Burgers,
Mhm.
although I haven't watched Bob's Burgers for seasons, so it's not like I have a devotion to that either. For whatever reason, I think because it's an animated musical, and because I like the voice cast so much,
Well,
it did win me over a little
there's
bit.
some good, like the ideas in there, like Josh Gad being almost like a omniscient narrator violinist in the park. That's just like
But also a
stalking him.
stalker.
Also stalker.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow,
Yes.
that sounds really funny. But when I'm watching
Yeah.
it, I'm like, why am I not laughing as hard as I feel like I should be at this? This is Josh Gad narrate musicaling a family.
Okay.
That-
Yeah,
I'm like-
I get that. I
Like,
get that.
I should be laughing my fucking ass off here.
Just didn't grab you.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I normally I think about these things so much and overthink them of like, what could have this show have done differently? And I really don't know what it is that didn't grab me here. I can't point to
Right.
any one thing.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll keep watching it. I still like it. I don't love it, but I like it. And also, my musical on TV is gone because they fucking killed Zoe's, and I'm still mad about it.
Sure. Could be worse. It could have been housebroken.
Oh God. Apple Plus has a Schmigadoon coming up, which I'm kind of curious to watch. So
Did you ever watch Gallivant?
I did not watch Gallivant. Actually, I watched the first episode and couldn't plug
You
into
might
it.
go back and give it a shot again. Or
Yeah, I
Eli
might, I
Stone.
might.
You might like as well.
Yeah, I could. Eli Stone was not
That's
my
more
thing.
legal
Again, legal
procedural.
dramas.
It's Ally
yeah,
McBeal musical.
Yeah.
How about some Wilkins coffee, Captain? No! I say, man overboard. Help.
Okay, let's have dessert. Let's talk about Loki.
Sure.
Spoilers
Yeah.
for Loki if you guys haven't seen fourth episode. This one, there's a lot more meat to this one. I think there was in the third episode.
Oh, you think?
I laughed and stomped my feet and clapped my hands like a little kid in this episode. Last episode
Yeah.
was really fun and I enjoyed watching.
Yeah.
Like, it was great big
Yeah.
space scenery of watching shit crash into the planet and everything.
I was looking at my screen when Sylvie and Loki were sitting on that planet together, and I was like, do it, Disney.
Do it.
Fucking
I
do
know,
it.
right?
Fuck your own
I
clone.
dare
Do
you.
it.
I double dare you, motherfucker. Let's do this.
I just watched another show where two characters end up in a discussion where one of them just like is nervous and nerdy and ends up talking for like 5 minutes straight about how he'd fuck his own clone and
Yep.
just can't stop and just realizes like, oh fuck, I'm ruining this date, Jesus. And then so like watching it on Loki and then watching them try to figure out, like, they can't find them because they're in an apocalypse and they haven't done it. It would be impossible to do
Right.
something big enough to stand out here, right? That's the whole
Right,
point of
right.
hiding here.
Yeah.
Fucking your own clone breaks time at like a 90-degree angle. It's not just like it like branches slightly off. It's just like boosh.
Not actually doing it, just thinking about it sets it off.
touching
Yeah.
touching your clone's hand or your variant's hand lightly in a loving manner.
Yeah.
When you're alone watching the last sunset.
Owen Wilson is so awesome of like, I cannot, what, you have a crush? I can't believe you fell,
Yeah.
you narcissistic
And he
asshole.
puts it together so quick of like, you can't,
Yeah.
oh my God, of course you did. Of course.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Ah,
I like that they opened this showing us Sylvie and how when she was a little girl and how she escaped, and it instantly gives us more of her backstory. Like, she's been running from the TVA for her entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was taken before she became a Loki, before she became sort of this evil goddess of mischief. She was taken from everything she knew, and they were going to execute her, and she ran. That's her life. Like, no wonder she's who she is.
Yeah, like she doesn't like that's why she doesn't remember her adopted family at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised they're as similar as they are with how she grew up. I also love that later when she asked like, what did I do that was so wrong? What did I do that deserved me and my entire world being erased from the timeline? And
Right.
and the chick just goes, she actually thinks about it for a second, like, oh, you know what? I don't remember. I don't really care.
And the thing is, I don't know if she actually doesn't remember or if she's just being a bitch.
Same.
She might just be, because that was I'm like, you asshole.
Because they did a term with Ravonna in this. Ravonna has been sort of the straight-laced, yeah, she works for the Timekeepers, but she seemed like maybe she was not, I didn't know if she was going to be sinister, because she and Owen Wilson's
Mobius.
character had such a, Mobius, had such a chemistry. I was like, oh, I like her. I want to like her. And she seems like the straight-laced to his more out esoteric guy. But no, she's actively hiding stuff, and she knows that Mobius is a variant. Like, she knows all this stuff. She's complicit.
I love the fact that the knowledge that C whatever one
C20
or
or C15.
I forget which number it was. The one that like frees Sylvie later.
That's C20.
Oh no,
C20?
the hunter.
Okay.
That's the hunter. Yeah.
Hunter
Hunter C20. Yeah,
Fucking,
Hunter C20 or B20.
God
B20.
damn it!
Whatever.
Give them names. Fuck. You'd at least humanize them that way.
I love that Loki's like, hi, your name's a number.
Yeah, I love that, like, she gets her accessed memory back of like, was that fucking real? Am I like, and then Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, only has to like be like just a little suspicious of it, of like maybe I'm not like, maybe I had a life before, for this whole thing to come apart.
Yeah.
Like it was so like, it's so easy, like, because Mobius is so naturally curious, and like it takes a lot. Like, apparently you can't erase a memory completely. Like, there's some stuff still in there. That jet ski stuff, I bet you that's in there somewhere.
I'm 100% sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Owen Wilson knew that something about it was real, because that's weird and you can't shake it. And like, I know that's not just me liking those. That's like a memory, like an itch or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's something like he can, as soon as Loki said it, he was like, I couldn't shake it. Like, what's this? And when he helps Loki later and he gets the stick, I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I did not like, I was like, is he gone?
Yeah. Because again, I don't know what happens to those people when they get hit with the stick.
And now we know, and now I'm like, okay, so he's not gone.
This is where they've sent everybody, though.
But I thought for a second that they just, like, that in the 4th episode, they're like, well, 2 more episodes left.
Switching Lokis. Yeah. And we're just going to pick another variant up, but it's not going to be the same Loki. We're going to Rick and Morty this shit.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was about to happen.
They finally did a post-credits sequence at the end of this one. And wow.
Yeah, oh man. It was so good.
Richard E. Grant.
Oh shit.
Oh man, seeing Richard E. Grant in the big stupid costume, I love it. It's so good.
Yep. I love it.
It was kind of like, the beginning, we're like, hey, remember when he showed you a bunch of holograms of a bunch of different Lokis? And we were like, man, wouldn't it have been cool to meet some bunch of these? Wink, wink.
Guess what? Also, by the way, the Timekeeper sequence, I was waiting for some reveal on them. I thought they were going to throw us an Immortus reference or something like that. But instead, no, they're fucking robots. So who's behind all this? Is it Kang?
Is it weird that I could tell they were either a hologram or a robot? Because I was like, no. Disney spends a lot more money on their CG guys than this.
Same. I was like, this is the first cheap-looking thing I've seen in any of these shows.
And it was deliberate.
These dudes are fake.
When Ravenna... So, like, she always felt suspicious to me, as a functionary or whatever, but...
Right.
But like you said, when all it took was kind of pointing it out to Owen Wilson for Mobius to start really suspecting, I was like, okay, then they've had breakouts of this knowledge before. And then her reaction to it, I was like, oh, yep, okay, then that tracks. You can have this break this easily if your main character already knows and is actively just like, oh, then we just burn every motherfucker in this room, Youngling style.
And then we start over.
We just start over.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder how many times she has done that.
Yeah.
And also the first time that she ever went into the room with the Timekeepers, and they've got some like green mist in front of things and like and first thing out of my mouth was, that is some Oz shit.
Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
All I could think was like, this is a floating head and a curtain and a schmuck with a hot air balloon behind it. I guarantee it.
The thing is, I've been enjoying this. I've been really loving the show. But this is the first week that it ended, and I was like, what? No, more
More
right now.
You son of a bitch. You can't just show me an alligator with a Loki helmet on. This is bullshit.
Exactly. There are 2 more. There are 2 more episodes. And next week it's going to get fucking crazy.
Oh, it's going to get weird.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, is Kang behind this? Are they leading into that? Because we know Kang's going to show up in Ant-Man.
I think, why would Kang make duplicates that look like him?
I think they're leading into Kang, but I don't think this is Kang.
Pure ego. Yeah, maybe not.
This is someone trying to make the TVA a bigger thing than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if it's a character we've already seen before, or if it's just something like they're trying to make it more grandiose than it is, but...
I don't know.
Fuck, maybe it is like Kang is like, he won the war with multiple timelines. And now he's making sure that no more timelines can threaten his main one or something. I don't know.
Well, that's a very Immortus thing to do, which is the guy who evolves out of Kang to become sort of the more enigmatic good guy version of him, but he's still kind of a dick.
Well, aren't there like 7 different versions of Kang or whatever?
There are. There's all kinds of different. So I don't know where they're going, and I love that feeling. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes of this show. But I love what they did. Also, I kind of want to go back and rewatch this to see at what point Mobius picks up on it, because he and Ravonna are talking, and he's already a little unsettled, but he figures at some point something happens where he's like, I'm going to steal that tempad.
It's when he can't interview C-15.
Right.
And she's like, are you sure I can? And she feeds him this bullshit of like, I wanted to protect you.
Yeah.
Owen was like, no, you don't actually care about me that much.
She finally throws him the bone of you're my favorite, and I think that's when he knows.
Yeah. He's like, why does she admit that now? And it's because she's trying to win me over. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Anyway, also, I really like the chemistry that Sylvie and Loki have.
I really bought it.
It was great seeing Sif again, or a time construct of her.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. I like.
You will always be alone.
Their time hell. Yeah.
This was great. They've done some good character turns, like B20 becoming. She was the hard ass. She was the one taking knives away from Loki. She hated this whole idea, but she gets a little glimpse of who she was and sees that she was happy, and her whole life falls underneath her.
Well, I'm assuming that being a TVA agent sucks balls.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be one thing if you were created for this purpose and you were filling out a purpose for a grand thing. But then you say, like, wait, you ripped me away from something else? Like a loved one, a family, or whatever?
And destroyed that. You took me and you destroyed everything
and then you
me.
indentured me forever.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Hundreds of years.
I mean, forever. Immortal. Like when Ravana's looking at Mobius and going, how long have we been doing this? Lifetimes and lifetimes. And I'm like, how many of those do you really remember? Do they just feed y'all some lines about like, well, you're immortal, so you never remember more than a couple hundred years back? Yeah. Because y'all don't act like you remember all time.
I bet you they keep pruning them.
Exactly.
And and they keep having to kind of reboot, and they're like, they've been around, but they can't quite remember.
Just grab another Owen Wilson and replace. Yeah.
I wonder how many Morbiuses we've been through.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit late season Good Place here with the replacing everybody's memories.
Molotov cocktails.
I can't wait for Jason to figure it out.
Right. Late mortals.
Anyway, super fun. I'm very much anxious. If I could skip ahead a week to see the next episode, I would. I'm so ready to see it.
We'd have to hit the button and roll you back.
That's true. So that won't work. Thank you, Les. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, dudes.
Thank you to our patrons. Thank you to our listeners. As a reminder, you can join us on Patreon in a few minutes here. You can go over, listen to F9, The Fast Saga, find The Fast Saga, and if you're so inclined, go listen to me and Les and Kyle talk about Fast and Furious all the way through 1 through 8.
Because it got mentioned last week, Felt and Furious?
Furious.
I sent this to Randy. I
saw that.
Way too long trying to figure out which Muppets would be which Fast and Furious cast. There's a shit ton of Fast and Furious cast.
There are.
Not nearly enough Muppets, frankly. And also the Fast and Furious franchise does all the villains become heroes thing.
Yeah.
So I ended up deciding that that Fozzie would be Brian,
Okay.
Kermit would be Dom, so that Miss Piggy can be Letty. I feel like one of the only times that I would break the villains being the humans rule, which Muppet movies do, is Sam the Eagle being the Rock.
Well, I was going to say Jason Statham for him for some reason. But...
Jordana Brewster would be me. Pepe the prawn would be Roman. Gonzo would be Tej.
Yeah, Roman and Tej was just dead on. By the way,
Yeah, Gonzo and Pepe.
you need to post this image to the Facebook TV Dude's Facebook.
We'd have Floyd as Han and Janice as Gazelle. Vince would be Animal. It's about family.
Yeah.
Family.
Buster.
With Scooter as Jesse. And I was gonna have Tego and Rico as Statler and Waldorf.
Which is fantastic. Yeah, that's great.
This used to happen.
So yeah, you want to hear a bunch of Fast and Furious? You can get that on Patreon. $1 an episode. You pay $1 an episode. You get all our backlog, and I'm gonna have the links to all of that.
That's the sort of shit you miss out on, is us contemplating fucking Muppets and Fast and Furious characters. That's the high-end intellectual conversation you miss out on.
So join us for that if you're so inclined. If you're not, we'll see you next week. And until that time,
TV Dudes out!
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.